Evening, 5 games, including leaders Arsenal, managerless Aston Villa and Tottenham against Newcastle, with analysis and opinion from Alan Shearer and Ashley Williams. So, Newcastle, unbeaten in 6, travelled to Spurs, who were beaten by Manchester United during the week. Commentary on this one from Simon Brotherton.
Please, not just with the result, of course, that means the world to us, but the performance. I thought we deserved the win. I thought we were very aggressive and brave with how we entered the game, and the players deserve all the credit for how they've played today.
Talk us through the first goal from your perspective, and not just when the ball left your foot and ended in the back of the net.
The goalie, we kind of done our homework. We seen that he was going to rush off his line and stuff anytime a ball was played in behind. And yeah, he's chested it and dived into me. I tried to slow my feet down and get out of the way. I don't really feel I need to move. And yeah, I managed to turn and finish. I think it was like an instinctive thing. And it's helped us get 3 points, which is the main thing.
I don't want to comment the referee decision, and we conceded this goal, and we lost a bit of confidence. Maybe it was the crucial point, for us. For sure, it was a pity because at the end, I think at least the draw was the fair result for this game.
Does this feel like another?
We know it doesn't get any easier, so next week we know we have a massive challenge again.
He talked there, didn't he, about how aggressive and brave they were. And the games are coming thick and fast at the moment, and yet there doesn't appear to be any let-up in their intensity.
They look so fit. They're relentless in their pressing, their work rate, their togetherness, and they have a tremendous team spirit. And they're all on the same page. They all know what they're doing. Every single one of them knows their job. Other than the first 15 minutes where they're under pressure a little bit. Just watch the attitude of every single Newcastle player. Joe Linton doing his tracking back 30 or 40 yards here to come and win the ball, help his teammates out. They're pressing, all right, it's not a great ball in, but watch how they react. There's no disappointment that they haven't got the ball. It's how can we get the ball back? How can we stop Spurs getting on their counter-attack? And that's exactly how you do it. And that set up there, the pressing, they're inviting Lloris to do that. They know he's not the best with his feet. So, saying, OK, if you're stupid enough to pass that ball, we're going to cut it out. And if it's not a good ball, like it's not, they're going to close them down. Say what you want against Spurs and how bad it is defensively, but from a Newcastle point of view, from Almiron's point of view, that is magnificent. Pace, power, and the ability to finish. They don't win the first one, but I tell you what, they make sure they win the second one. Then they're on the attack again, and it was for the vast majority of the game. Joe Linton again helping his defence out when Tottenham are on the attack. Not only that, but they actually were really good on the ball. Same thing again. The first one, the second one, they're in for the tackle. Murphy comes on. He knows his role. I said they're all on the same page. One goes, they don't get it. Wilson goes, he doesn't get it. Almiron goes, he doesn't get it. Then Longstaff goes, what happens? He gets it. It's just superb from the whole team. And that's what I mean by the same page, knowing their job. Lloris again had a really poor game. Put him under pressure. They win the ball back high up the pitch and then go and celebrate in front of the 3,000 fans. It really is great to see. It's magnificent.
You're as breathless as they are.
I'm super. I'm out of breath. I didn't even play. It's great to see. I am so happy with the performance.
You were so pumped up in that analysis. Alan showed us how, Newcastle forced Tottenham into mistakes, but they were also their own worst enemy, weren't they?
Yeah, it was a tough afternoon for them. I think there was a lack of movement, a lack of options. This was early on in the game, and just real sloppy play. There's Eric Dyer there, and he nearly gives a goal away, and it just set the tone for Spurs to be a little bit sloppy. And here Sessegnon's in a good position. If you just want a little bit of quality, just float it in there for your two strikers that are making good runs in between the centre-backs, but no, it is poor quality and it goes out the back. Here, Eric Dyer again, a lack of movement, a lack of options, rushes it a little bit, chooses the wrong option and gives away possession. Exactly the same thing again. Newcastle did well, as Alan said, and they set up well and pressed, but they just couldn't find that little bit of quality. And here we see Bentancur's frustrated. Even when they got up the pitch, they didn't have that final pass. Lloris gave a number of balls away, and it was just tough. Basuma, who is usually neat and tidy, same thing. And Conte ends up frustrated, but it was tough because Newcastle set up well, but Spurs, they just didn't have the quality or the creativity or movement to secure possession and create something.
I was at their game. I did the co-coms for Spurs against Man United and obviously watched this game today. Unless Harry Kane come short, because he seems to be the only one, certainly in the last 2 games, is the only one with that creativity, the only one that can find that killer pass. And the 2 chances that they had early on in the game, it was his passes by coming deep, and no one else can do that in that team. Very one-dimensional.
Just also on Tottenham, you know, they'd won all their league games at home until this one today. They're in the top 4. They're top of a very tight Champions League group, and yet it doesn't necessarily feel as positive around the place as it does when you look at where they are placed.
Yeah, strange. And I agree with you. And I think that, you know, they are missing Richarlison, they are missing Kulusevski, but there should be enough quality on that pitch and with a good manager, and like you said, the campaign's been good so far, that they play a game, it seems very negative. You know, they can't create anything, they sit deep when they're playing at home, and it just doesn't feel right, and I'm not sure why, because, you know, from the outside looking in, everything's going okay for them. But when you see them play today, it doesn't look right, it doesn't feel right, they don't look like they're brimming with confidence, and they don't seem happy in the shape.
It's odd, isn't it?
Yes, it is odd, but it's the style of play. It's the style of play that when you watch them, it's not that entertaining. It's not that exciting. You can tell that in their performance.
Do you both agree that there was nothing wrong with the... to ask a stupid question here. That there was nothing wrong with the opening goal?
There's nothing wrong with it at all. It's a goalkeeping error. He should be another 5 yards further up the pitch. If he is, when they play that high line, he'll come and clear it. He should clear it anyway. What on earth is doing trying to take a touch? Just get rid of it. He actually stands up, you know, for a second after the collision. And then he thinks, oh, I'm going to have to go down here and buy the foul. He's got to be stronger. There's nothing wrong with that at all. And it's a fantastic finish from Callum Wilson.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. I can't see why Callum Wilson would jump out of the way there. It's a coming together. And Lloris,
this is the one.
From this angle, I feel like he's flopped over a little bit on that one. And he did have a chance, as Al said, when it's come in. If his starting position's a little bit higher, he can come and just clear that. And I'm not sure where it's a no foul for me.
Is that decision vindicated as well? We had this discussion last week with Anthony Taylor refereeing Liverpool Manchester City, in that Jared Gillett actually refereed the whole game very similar to his decision-making there. He let a lot go, or he let it flow.
No, he let it be a Premier League game. What a Premier League game should be. It should be aggressive. You should be allowed to tackle. You should have contact. And he did, and it had all of those things. It's never a foul.
No, yeah, I agree. And consistency, and that's what everyone's been asking for. I thought that he had a good game, the referee, and he let things like that go, which, you know, I think we all agree is fine.
Next, Leeds without a win in 7 against Fulham. Stephen Wyeth was at Elland Road.
We are unified here, really, from the board to the staff to the players. We are hurting. It is painful. We feel like we do little things that we can't seem to reward ourselves, but we are together. So, you know, I understand that fans are not happy, and the ire should be directed exactly at me, and I've got to find ways to get us better and find ways to help us get points.
Great win, great win for us, and we well deserved from our players. I think we were the best team on the pitch. We know how it's tough to play at Elland Road. Unbelievable work from our players. They deserve all the credits. They stuck to the plan. They did what we asked them. Congratulations to them, and for our fans, long journey for them, and they go happy. They go home really happy.
We're fully behind the manager. We believe in the manager. We start the game very well, get the first goal, and then concede a stupid goal, and that's down to us, the players on the pitch. It's not been good enough. This club needs to be winning games, and we're not at the moment. We know what's expected of us, and we've got to go and do that.
I have to take responsibility, and I have to find solutions to help this team stay strong and continue to move forward and find wins.
We'll deal with Leeds and Jesse Marsch in a while, but we have to start with Fulham, who, not for the first time this season, were fantastic this afternoon.
Yeah, really impressive start to the season for them, which this win sees them up to 7th. And I was really impressed with this midfield of Fulham today. They was bright, they was front-footed. Here we see an attack, and Harrison Reed had an unbelievable afternoon. So unlucky not to score this one, but they're playing with a real freedom and a spark about them, and they just seem fit, bright, enjoying their football. Here's a counter attack, as we can see, as Mitrovic wins it. Willian, one pass, Pereira's in, and obviously he'll be kicking himself tonight because this is a one-on-one, and he's got Harry Wilson for the pass, and he just kind of lets him know where he's putting it. But here we are, Harrison Reed stepping on, as I say, front-footed. Paulinho continues his run, Mitrovic lays it off, and here they are again, arriving with another one-on-one. Probably should do better. But they just set the tone. I think they just set the tone and they wore Leeds down. They was very bright, creative. We've got Harrison Reed again, who's a centre midfielder, popping up in the right wing and crossing for Harry Wilson. It was just...
That's a great touch, isn't it?
There was good. The midfield were very good. And I think that no matter who he puts in there, Marco Silva, at the minute, it's just working for them. This is a really clever goal. As poor as it was from Leeds' point of view, Reed again bright, very quick feet, and Willian probably deserved his goal.
Yeah, you say who he puts in there. It's interesting. Since the start of September, in the main, he makes a few changes, but he tends to stick with Pereira, Harrison Reed, De Cordova-Reid and Tim Ream as sort of a spine. Mitrovic was injured, otherwise I'm sure you'd add Mitrovic to the list of his go-to. Yeah. And then just freshens it up around the edges.
Well, I think that it's the league's so demanding at the minute. It's good for him that he's got a squad that have all bought into the way that he wants to play. And when he makes a change, it doesn't... The quality of the team doesn't go down, or they just add, and they all know their roles, and they seem like they're enjoying their football under Marco Silva. I think he's done an excellent job, and to be sitting 7th now, I don't think any of us would have really seen that before the season started.
Jesse Marsh said that they're doing just these slight things wrong, but this is the age-old problem for Leeds, isn't it? And that's defending set pieces.
I watched them in midweek as well, and they were poor, but when you're not playing well, which they're not, you have to do the basics right, particularly defending set pieces. And they were really poor and got caught out today. It's a good ball in. You can see Mitrovic and Elam, but Wilson does really well because he creates the space at the near post. I mean, there's no way Rodrigo should go that far anyway. You can't vacate that area. You have to stay in there. That's your job. And you just look at Mitrovic and Ealing there. He's too strong for him, pushes him off, get off. He gets to the ball first. You need a good ball, and it's exactly what happened. And he gets on the end of it. Another corner. Watch how they go to sleep. The ball goes back out there, no pressure. 3 of them there, but just have a look at the 2 in the middle there. Cabano, De Cordova-Reid. Good ball in. I mean, if he doesn't get it, the first one there, the header, Cabano behind him gets it. They both are free. It's incredible. And how the Leeds defence and the whole team actually go to sleep and switch off. You cannot switch off at this level, any level, let alone at the highest level. And from a simple throw-in, another goal. Reed, who Ashley said was superb, puts it on a plate for William, but just watch how he gets in. Mitrovic, Cooper, you can't turn off, switch off. And he does. They get the ball in there, then they're scrambling for the ball, and William finds himself free. Great play from Reed, who was superb all game. And that's it. But 3 goals like that to give away, it's crucial. Costing them big time.
He looked absolutely shattered when the second and third goals went in, didn't he? And at the end. When you compare the Leeds of Bielsa towards the end to the Leeds of Marsh, are they noticeably worse under Marsh?
Well, I agree with you. He looked a little bit beaten, I think, towards the end of the game, and he looked like he didn't have the answers. In the comparison, they're not really in better shape at all. I think the difference is they're not as wildly bad, if that makes sense, towards the end of the Bielsa
They were shipping
reign.
A lot of goals.
Yeah, and it's not as shockingly, bad. But they haven't really gone anywhere. I'm not sure for Leeds what the long-term plan would be with Jesse Marsh. I'm not sure. I can't see what he's trying to build.
It feels like the finer margins now for Leeds are not going their way. We saw them last Sunday against Arsenal. Patrick Bamford missed a penalty. They had other chances. They had a couple of chances here.
But I was expecting a reaction because I thought last weekend they actually did really well to get back into the game, albeit they missed a penalty, had a goal ruled out. But I thought there was more to take from that performance. So for the next 2 midweek at Leicester, and then again today, I've been really disappointed.
Does it also look like a confidence thing? At the moment, they took the lead there. They then allow Fulham back in. When they go down.
But that's how important it is to do the basics. Set pieces, I know they're important, but you turn off, particularly at this level, and you get punished.
Do you think it's confidence?
I'm not sure. Like what Alan's saying, when you're in a sticky patch, and I've been in many myself, What you need to build it off a clean sheet. So the team works for a clean sheet, and those kind of goals to give away just makes the job almost impossible to win a game when the ball goes out and then your whole team just switches off and you're not marking people. And the goals were quite easy for Fulham today, so there's nothing to build on.
Thank you. Right, Aaron Danks was in charge of Aston Villa for the visit of Brentford after Steven Gerrard was sacked on Thursday night.
What happened there?
Very simple. 3-0 after 14 minutes, end of discussion, game done. Congratulations to Aston Villa. So for me, the 2 set-piece goals are the most disappointing bit. You can always find few bits on their second goal, but that's all a credit to Villa for that goal. So 3-0 down after that, game over.
Shambles, to be honest. Shambles. We fully deserved the result. Could have been more. Really like a bunch of kids out there. Fully deserved to lose the game.
I thought the boys, from the opening 5 minutes, the intensity they started the game at, and they sustained it throughout. The substitutes had a massive impact in keeping that as well and keeping that momentum. So yeah, overall, really, really pleased. I'm physically shattered myself, but really, really pleased, with the game and the performance.
It's not just for the team, the whole Aston Villa, the fans, the staff, everybody down to the physio. It was very important to have that boost of energy again, to feel alive. And I think today, really, 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 we showed class today as a team. And I think we can build on this and do great things in the future.
I've been asked to lead the team at the moment. I'll continue to do that, so I'll step forward again Monday morning and prepare the team as we go, and until I hear otherwise, it's just full focus and energy for me on that.
Well, he's preparing them for next week. He prepared them well for today, didn't he? And the tweaks that he made paid dividends.
Yeah, I think the main thing for me, apart from the change in personnel, was the change in formation. He went to a 4-2-3-1 today, and what we saw from the start of the game was the top four playing with a lot more intent, freedom, creativity, linking up well, and that's something that I think Aston Villa have really struggled with this season and towards the end of last season. There was just felt so rigid. We see a well-worked corner routine, Douglas Luiz, and that's a really good finish, and I think Bailey had a really good afternoon today. You can just see running off the ball, in front of the ball, Danny Ings scores. All of them. Bailey's here, Buendia's popped up, patient, waits, back heel. Okay,
that worked him in the hole, didn't it?
Yeah, that was a big thing. And it just linked up well. They looked free. They looked like they had a bit of a weight off their shoulders. And I think that a big thing was that the 2 sitting midfielders today, Den Donker was in, and this guy who had a cracking shot here but unlucky not to go in, Luiz. That having 2 players sitting in the middle of the park and winning balls like that allowed freedom for this front four to go and attack the Brentford defence, which they did all game. And we've kind of been waiting for from Leon Bailey. This is a great run. Little 1-2 from Ings. Continues his run. Gets Villa up the park. And then a really nice, clever ball to Watkins. They do get a little bit fortunate with it coming back off the post and then his head. But ends up getting his goal. He ends up getting his goal. And I think it was a completely different performance from Aston Villa today than we've seen previously.
And you look at the stats for before today, and then the game today, and we'll come on to how Brentford contributed to that. But those numbers are starkly different, Alan. And how do you explain it?
It's very difficult. I mean, to me, it would look like 1 or 2 didn't like the manager, didn't like the way he was playing. And they looked a lot freer today. And you would think if Steven Gerrard's watching that at wherever he is, then he's looking back and thinking, goodness me, why couldn't we have had that last week? But then the manager has gone and he's made changes, dropped the captain, big decision, and everyone looked freer today.
And then do you also just slightly balance into it Brentford, who, in Ivan Toney's words, were a shambles?
Yeah.
Look like a bunch of kids out there, is what he said, and their away form is poor.
Too easy to play against away from home. Shipped 5 at Newcastle, 4 today. They've conceded 3 away from home, 15 goals in total away from home. So he may have to, well, he will look at that, and he may have to sacrifice a bit of flair for being tight and shoring things up.
Yep, agree. But I think the day belonged to Aston Villa, to be honest. Brentford didn't play particularly well at all, but I think it was more to do with, the Villa's attacking play. They was very good. There was 3-0 up within 14 minutes.
Yep.
Right, ahead of the visit of bottom club Leicester, Wolves confirmed that Steve Davis will continue in caretaker charge until the new year. Commentary on this one from Alistair Mann.
I thought as a team we were excellent. First of all, defensively, it's our 4th clean sheet in 5 games. So everyone's working, pressing, and the timing of that has been very good. And then obviously then with the ball, then we showed real moments of quality. All the goals were absolutely fantastic.
I think we had 7 chances in the first 15 minutes, and then they get a set play and capitalised on it with a fantastic strike. Listen, at the end of the day, you can't do much about that, but you need a reaction. They got the one before half time, and then it becomes very difficult, because of how they set up second half to make it difficult to break them down. As I say, we kept going, but in the end, it just wasn't good enough for us.
You've scored a lot of very good goals in your career. How high does that rank?
It's up there. I think this season, most definitely the best one, and hopefully a lot more to come.
What was the difficulty when the ball came bouncing towards you to make sure you got over the top of it?
No, to be fair, it had a good height. It was more so managing the spin of the ball because it was coming from the front post to the back. So and then try to hit it cleanly, and it went up corner off the post, really good.
He makes it sound very easy. It was some goal, and they were clinical, weren't they, Leicester?
Yeah, they took their confidence from their win in midweek into this game, and you're right, that's the word. They were just so clinical. I mean, their 4 goals came from their first 4 shots. I mean, the technique here from Tielemans is just outstanding. The way he catches it, and the keeper has got no chance at all. 2 keepers in there wouldn't have stopped that. It's fantastic. What a strike! And then they were on the front foot. They were full of confidence. As I said, carried their good form on. Little give and go. It looks so simple, but it's not. Harvey Barnes scored in midweek again. And Maddison, he didn't play in midweek because of suspension. He was always coming back into the team because of the form that he's in. Wonderful strike as well. Tucks it away in the corner. Very little the keeper can do about that one because of the pace and the bend on it. And then this is in the 80th minute. The way they're pressing, they're 3-0 up. Got to be admired. And they're still going after Wolves. They're still going for more goals. And then Vardy gets in on the act. Lovely ball across, and he ain't going to miss that. And it's time to wind the away fans up, which is what he does very well. Good performance, but very, very clinical. I mean, as I said, the 4 goals from the first 4 shots. They only had 5 shots the whole game.
And Brendan Rodgers mentioned there in the post-match interview, they've turned around their form. And if there's one club more than any other in the Premier League that knows how to scout a centre-half, it would be Leicester.
Yeah, they've had 4 clean sheets in the last 5 games, and I think a lot of it is down to this man, Wout Faes, and he had a really assured performance today. Really good afternoon.
And that is the difference now. He's starting for Leicester, and they're changing form, and the change of their defence. Look, half again the number of goals they've conceded with him in the side. Age-old problem for Wolves. They created lots on the field, at least. They created lots of chances and didn't take them. Off the field, it feels like they've got themselves in a bit of a pickle.
Well, they have, haven't they? They've gone. I mean, the 2 managers have openly sort of turned them down.
In Lopetegui and Mick Beale at QPR.
Beale at QPR, who's doing a wonderful job then, and said no. So mentally for the players, they look to leadership. It's a very difficult job and ask for Steve Davis to be put in that position. Of course, he's there until they've said it until the end of the year now. So they've got to knuckle down and get on with it.
I mean, you could say on the other hand, all right, 2 targets have turned them down. Maybe it does make sense to wait until the end of the World Cup because other options might become available depending on how the World Cup goes and who might leave their international jobs.
There's games to be played in that space of time, and I'm just not sure what the message is to the players in this situation. Of you want them to get on with it. You don't have people like Conor Cody in that dressing room anymore that would pull everyone together and just batten down until they can put a manager in. So it's a little bit messy, and I feel for them a little bit. I'm not sure how this is going to play out.
It's the same problem though with Wolves as what we said all season: the lack of goals. Where are the goals going to come from?
I know it's not meant to happen, but are you surprised they didn't have somebody ready to go before they made the decision to sack Bruno Lage?
It's what should happen, normally happens anyway.
Even though it's not meant to happen or be allowed to happen. To St Mary's, where Arsenal, who made their best ever start to a Premier League season, faced Southampton. Steve Wilson watched this one.
So still try to be brave with the ball and play through the lines. In some moments we did it well. Also in the first half we had some good moments, but in the second half it was much better. And in the end, you have to say, after the equaliser, you had that feeling that we had them in the ropes. It was a fantastic atmosphere and we were really fighting for everything.
I was thinking that maybe if you're going to get an equaliser, it would come from a set piece or a corner. You had a few of those. But in fact, it's a brilliant move from the left-back position in front of your own corner flag almost.
Yeah, well, that's what it was about. It was about defending deep, and we knew we could threaten on the counter, and the goal did come from that, and it was excellent work by Moy. Slipped in a lovely ball, and very happy with the finish.
Well, that was a game of two halves, wasn't it?
Well, it was. I mean, Southampton had to stick together in that first half because they were under the cosh from Arsenal. They had to defend well. Arsenal created chances, but for good defending and good goalkeeping, really. Last-ditch tackles, which they had to do. They didn't collapse. As I said, they conceded the goal. They got men behind the ball, and Arsenal played some good stuff in that first half. But if it wasn't for this, as I said, that sticking together and the togetherness, relying on the goalkeeper here, that's a good save. Defenders first there to get rid of it. I mean, what about this for a tackle from El Elyounoussi? They changed it second half, went to more of a three at the back, Southampton, and then they got together. Then they weren't phased. They grew into that second half, started passing the ball, and they created one or two chances themselves. And the goal that they got, it starts from the goalkeeper. It's a really, really well worked goal. The pass, the little over there, then all of a sudden they're into the back four of Arsenal. Just have a look at where Armstrong comes from. Elyounoussi was so impressive, particularly second half. We saw him with that unbelievable tackle, and then the weight of pass there to Armstrong. Watch the way he runs past 5 or 6 Arsenal players there into the space. He spots it, and it's a really clever finish. And Southampton did really well there. They deserved the point for their performance in the second half.
Elyounoussi great, isn't he? Hasenhüttl said afterwards he's got no idea how many positions he's played for him because he is so versatile, and that tackle on Gabriel Jesus completely changed the game.
Did.
Yeah, and sometimes we've played in games before where you're struggling a bit to get into it as a team, and one big moment like a tackle like that, a last-ditch tackle, or one big, coming together where it's a block tackle, just changes the momentum. The stadium changes, the atmosphere, the feeling that you get changes, and sometimes it swings in your favour, as I think it did for Southampton.
It's not a bad point for Arsenal, is it? No. I mean, as Arteta and Gabriel Jesus said afterwards, that is football. There is a danger to overreact when they don't win because of the start.
I don't think there's any reason to overreact. They played well in the first half. They didn't in the second half, and Southampton came back into it. You have to accept that. You take a point and you move on.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think that they aren't. Who said that they're going to win all the games? They've had a little bit of a setback, a minor setback. They still got a draw. They've had a good start to the season. It's no big deal for them. Yeah.